folks. How's your reading? I don't have a parcel to open. I don't have a book that I have read about, I have a book that I saw. It's called A Murrumbeena Scrapbook by Colin Smith. It's really hard to get this in here and get my faces at the same time. And it's actually really hard to hold because you can see it's a really thick book. So I was picking up a parcel from the post office, and as I was walking to the post office and walking back, there was a shop there and it had this in it. Now, normally this type of book would be in the newsagent, which would have been across the road, but this time the newsagent is now closed. It's been closed for several years, and so this shop has decided that they are going to put in this book. So I picked it up some weeks ago, and that following Sunday there was going to be a book launch for this book. But I didn't think I'd be able to make it. And as it turns out, I wasn't able to make it because someone else was ill and I had to be there for them. Yeah, attending the hospital on multiple occasions with the same person is interesting. One day it might be me. So this, oh, here we go. The back of it, I will just show you the back because you've got this lovely photo. And I'm going to read out the text that it says here. For over 30 years, Colin Smith has researched the history of the Melbourne suburb of Murrumbeena. Now, Murrumbeena is where I have my P.O. box. It's not too far from my house. It's actually a walkable, if you don't mind a decent walk. And I have almost made it there one day. If I took a shortcut, I probably could do it. But not with a book like this in my day pack. It's actually very heavy. It's probably about 700 grams, guessing it. So back to the book. In that time, he has collected stories and photographs of its fascinating past. In A Murrumbeena Scrapbook, these come together in a remarkable view back in time, from Murrumbeena's wood yards and market gardens to its railway lines and extraordinary art history. A Murrumbeena Scrapbook records life in Australia from a bygone era. Okay, so that's great. That's what I'm looking forward to. I will not be able to read this in bed because it is far too heavy. There are lots of photos. I'll just take this page, for instance, open it up for you, if I can hold it, so you can see. Photo, a smaller photo, and then text. I don't know if the text just explains the photo, but anyway. And what we have on the back are two people who grew up in Murrumbeena. Two famous people who grew up in Murrumbeena. So this one is by Libby Gore. Her father had a garage, for repairing cars. Car service place. There is a specific set of words that you use just for this, and it'll come to me as I read this. So, Murrumbeena, it was not quite Caulfield. In fact, when I grew up there in the 1970s, it was not quite anywhere, except we all knew the Boyds place. The Boyds were potters and artists, and they were actually quite famous, and their pottery place, the place where they made all their pots, and was actually in Murrumbeena. And if you go to Murrumbeena Station, go out to Murrumbeena Road, where the bulk of the shops are. Murrumbeena Road, no, it's Neerim Road, where the bulk of the shops are. There might still be some QR codes on the ground which you can scan and get a whole walking history of the Boyds. Gore Automotive was similarly iconic, and my dad ruled as the king of Neerim Road. This book gives Murrumbeena its place beyond my childhood heart. Here we go, Libby Gore. I think she's a vague cousin of mine. One day I'll talk to her and I'll say, I think you're a cousin of mine. And she'll go, what? I've never met her. This next person is a comedian, another comedian, although Libby Gore is more than just a comedian. She sings. She's a lawyer. Yeah, she's pretty amazing. Anyway, so this other one by Mark Trevorrow, he plays a character called Bob Down, who I'm quite taken with. My family lived in Murrumbeena for almost a century. It's where I grew up. A Murrumbeena scrapbook celebrates the history of the place and many of the things that made it special. So, there you go. Now, the cover photo, it's really heavy. On the back, it tells me it is Murrumbeena in 1904, taken by David Livingston Muntz, which is all very well. I think that's Nearham Road. It's really hard to tell because the fronts of the shops look so different now. There used to be a fantastic op shop in Murrumbeena. It was actually two shops next to each other, and you could go through. It was an open doorway. The doorway is open. It had no door. It was a doorway, and you could pop through to the next one. Bought some lovely things there. And this, on the back, is the view west across northern Murrumbeena in 2024 by Paul Kane. So that's lovely. You've got 1904 and 2024. I like that symbolism. Anyway, it's got, it talks about the Murrumbeena Market Gardens. I need to read this, and I will show you the photo that goes with that, the beginning of that chapter. Okay. Now, what you've got here, that reminds me very much of what Victoria Market looks like. So, I don't know. I'm going to turn the page and see what's here. No, it doesn't actually tell me what that photo was. Oh well. So, I'll get back to that. Putting it down because it's just so heavy. So there's lots of this area around here which were market gardens up until the 50s and 60s, 1950s and 1960s. So the house I'm in is a little bit away from Murrumbeena, and my house was one of the first houses on the street. Not the first, I think the second or fourth or something. So this house and the one next to us were actually built by brothers. I don't think we had market gardens in this area, in this street, but certainly less than a kilometre away. And I think in most directions there were market gardens. There was a lot of immigration, so people coming in from the Holocaust from Europe. They were coming in to find a safe haven, and it wasn't very expensive here in those days. So they could buy a plot of land and they could build. And what was happening, especially in the city of Moorabbin, and I presume city of Caulfield as well, the city of Moorabbin and the city of Caulfield, they were right next to each other. And the border was North Road, which is just... I'm just trying to figure out which way North Road is. I can't remember. I don't know which way I'm facing. I think it's that way. A couple of hundred metres that way, so not very far. I can walk it in a few minutes. I can hobble with my stick and do it in a few minutes. Anyway, so I know in the city of Moorabbin, which is multiple suburbs, the people who owned the market gardens were trying to make some money, quick money, so they would subdivide the market gardens and sell off plots of land and make a lot of money at that time. And so the people who bought started living here. They bought a plot of land, they built a house. It was in the 1950s, 1960s. I actually have, if I can find the page in my book, some numbers. So I've only notated the numbers of children, and now this is in Caulfield, which is north of North Road, and Murrumbeena, which is south of North Road. North of North Road and south of North Road. Anyway, so I haven't done any totals. So, but in 1947, there were about 10,000 children between the ages of 0 and 4. I think that's all Murrumbeena. I don't think I've written down. I haven't put the headings. I think I've only written down Murrumbeena, as opposed to Caulfield. So, 1947, about 10,000 children between the ages of 0 and 4. 1954, it's gone up to, and I'm adding this up on the fly, 5,300 plus 8,500 is 13, almost 14,000. 1961, we've gone up to about 15,000. 1966, just remember this is still children between 0 and 4. 1966 is 4,500 plus 8,500 is it's the same as 1954, which is interesting. But I've seen other statistics that show that Murrumbeena, I keep saying Murrumbeena when I mean Murrumbeena, because Murrumbeena was a suburb. Murrumbeena was a suburb of Caulfield, city of Caulfield, a bit like Shire, but more people. So it was the city of Caulfield, which was north of North Road. I'm repeating myself to get this into my head. And the city of Murrumbeena, which was south of North Road. And it was a bit cheaper to go south of North Road. And yes, we also have a South Road. We have an East Boundary Road. We have a Centre Road. I don't think there's a West Road. Yeah, so the numbers were jumping up fairly quickly. If I actually... Now, these are people just coming into the country as well. And then if I look at... let's go to ages of 15 to 19. 1947, we had 7,300. 1954, we had 7,600. Not so big a jump. 1961, 5,700 plus 6,800 is 11,000, 12,500. So that's a big jump. And 1966, so I've taken this information from the census, what's the plural of census? From those years. So that's the reason that's the reason the years have interesting jumps between them. And the last one, 1966, is 16,000 to almost 18,000 children between the ages of 15 and 19. Yeah, so the reason I know all this and have this written in there is because I was researching for my book that I'm supposed to be writing and that I will finish one day, that I will actually finish and will get published. I was looking at why our building was built specifically for a religion school, and yet the day they moved all the students in, there were not enough classrooms. So they had like, I think it's 6 classrooms up top, 5. I can't remember, it's 5 or 6. I should know, I've been up there often enough, I've been into all of them. 5 or 6 classrooms up top. There was a class in the rabbi's office, a class in the foyer, a class in the sanctuary, a class in the communal hall. So we're talking 9 or 10 classes. And I think my theory is that because the numbers rose so quickly, they weren't able to plan properly and do enough classrooms. I mean, the numbers dropped back eventually. So now we only have a handful of students in our religion school, but in those days it was a lot of students. We're talking, I think it was 260 maybe. That's a lot of students. I wasn't there in those days, but the building was finished in 1966, and that's why I have this, because I'm really curious to see what was happening in Murrumbeena at that time. And I really do like Murrumbeena. Oh, I'm losing some light because my screen went off. Isn't that good? So anyway, that's all I had to tell you. Yeah, so I will enjoy this. I hope he's sold well. I'll have to, one day I'll go off to back to the shop and I'll talk to him and I'll say, hey, do you know how well this book sold? Anyway, I have rabbited on for almost 16 minutes about a book and about why I know all this information. And so I'll see you on the flip side. You know, the standard thing, subscribe down below or don't, as you choose, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.